called the police car of the future. This self-driving cruiser is currently patrolling the streets of Miami-Dade County with...
The Miami-Dade Sheriff's Office is testing the nation's first self-driving patrol car.
You'd need 20 deputies to do everything this vehicle is doing.
Comes equipped with all the technology needed to operate as a self-driving car, as well as thermal imaging, 360-degree cameras, and its own drone that can act as an eye in the sky, all sent back live to a police command center. Soon, it'll be equipped with license plate readers and a way for the public to contact live deputies.
And we hear the drums are beating, all for the machines to rise. It's nothing but a distraction. And we know the sheep fall for it every time. Now, a Patreon member sent me this video of the autonomous cop car. You know, guys, I've been over it a few months ago, but this lets you know this technology is ready, and all they need is that crisis. And we're going to see event after event until we get that black swan. And remember, the crypto teacher told you.
But captured along with his wife, Celia Flores, both of whom now face American justice. Maduro and Flores have been indicted in the Southern District of New York. It's Jay Clayton for their campaign of deadly narco-terrorism against the United States and its citizens. So we are going to run the country until such time as we can do a safe, proper, and judicious transition. And it has to be judicious, because that's what we're all about. We want peace, liberty, and justice for the great people of Venezuela.
Legal authority to do this.
So, in accordance with the international law, no, they do not. They are using the self-defense rationale within non-international armed conflict portion of the laws of armed conflict to justify taking out the head of a supposed cartel. That's a real problem, because you have to prove that you're under an armed attack. And none of that, however, justifies legally taking out the head of state of another nation.
They were pumping almost nothing by comparison to what they could have been pumping and what could have taken place. We're going to have our very large United States oil companies, the biggest anywhere in the world, go in, spend billions of dollars, fix the badly broken infrastructure, the oil infrastructure, and start making money for the country. And we are ready to stage a second and much larger attack if we need to do so. So we will.
You said that the U.S. is going to run Venezuela. So who's in power right now?
Well, we're going to be running it with a group, and we're going to make sure it's run properly. We're going to rebuild the oil infrastructure, which will cost billions of dollars. It'll be paid for by the oil companies directly. They will be reimbursed for what they're doing, but that's going to be paid. And we're going to get the oil flowing the way it should be. As you know, it was just a minor flow. It was actually a minor flow for what they have.
You mentioned that would run Venezuela.
Well, it's largely going to be for a period of time. The people that are standing right behind me, we're going to be running it. We're going to.
Mr. President, China, Russia, and Iran have interests in Venezuela. How does this operation affect your relationships with them when it comes to the oil
China
and drugs?
And Russia, Russia, when we get things straightened out. But in terms of other countries that want oil, we're in the oil business. We're going to sell it to them. We're not going to say we're not going to. In other words, we'll be selling oil. Probably in much larger doses, because they couldn't produce very much because their infrastructure was so bad. So we'll be selling large amounts of oil to other countries, many of whom are using it now, but I would say many more will come.
In going after Maduro, Trump is taking aim at a close ally of Russia and China. Is this Trump sending a message to those countries?
But yes, I mean, we could go right back to the Monroe Doctrine of decades ago and say that the United States is reestablishing itself within its own hemisphere, within its own sphere of influence. You know, yesterday, Maduro met with the special envoy from China on Latin America and the Caribbean affairs. So amidst a very high-profile meeting, within hours, you have this removal. Russia has been very clear, warning in the early hours of today about escalation within the area.
You have a vice president who's been appointed by Maduro, and right now she's the vice president, and she's, I guess, the president. She was sworn as president just a little while ago. She had a long conversation with Marco, and she said, "We'll do whatever you need." I think she was quite gracious, but she really doesn't have a choice.
Welcome to the Crypto Teacher.
Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel.
And I come back with that video just to make you think. And make sure you join the Patrons. If you're not a part of the Patrons, make sure you're hitting the Cash App. Also, go like and follow the TikTok. More videos to come. And remember, your life is an illusion and TV is your reality. And people have ears, but they do not hear. They have eyes, but they do not see. And we know the sheep don't hear or see. They stay distracted on things that don't matter. And my people perish from the lack of knowledge because they rejected, willfully ignorant. And what did Trump say? Jay Clayton is going to be handling this case. And don't forget, Jay Clayton's job is to get the drugs off the street. At least that's what they want us to believe. But we know Jay Clayton is a chess piece. Again, you gotta have ears to hear what's going on. This is definitely decoded. And we have Trump says U.S. will run Venezuela. And we know for a fact he has no legal authority. And what's going to happen? This is going to allow Trump to leave office. Because in 2027, we know the impeachment is definitely coming. And we had Trump says the big U.S. oil companies are going into Venezuela. Now, are they going to help the people? We know definitely not. They're going to rob. Take all that good oil for the fourth industrial revolution. Remember, these machines need oil. These data centers need all this energy. So therefore, they can create an illusion. And that illusion is going to be in the sky. And remember, the Crypto Teacher told you. And Trump talked about it may be a second attack. But we know China and Russia are not going to take this laying down. And of course, the three boogeymen left, China, Russia, and Iran. And he was asked about selling oil to those countries. Dodged the question, but says he's in the oil business. And they're going to be selling oil to these different countries. Now, don't forget, China put on sanctions on U.S. companies right after Christmas. And then the United States just came January 2nd and put sanctions on Chinese companies. And Venezuela, Maduro was just speaking with China. So this is definitely going to escalate. And I talked about the Monroe Doctrine. And now we're going to see the two superpowers rise. We have the two sides created. And China and its partners, the United States and their partners, are definitely going to collide for Armageddon. We can definitely see it playing out. But again, this is all a distraction. Because we're definitely going to have a job apocalypse due to the rise of these machines. And it doesn't matter what country you go to, they all have the same agenda, and that means that central banks are funding it all. And we had Trump just speak about Iran before attacking Venezuela. So we're definitely about to get the black swan we've been looking for. But remember, guys, it's all a distraction, so therefore they can bring in the robots, algorithms, and drones. And they're going to pay each other with crypto while the sheep go inside the metaverse, get that free money, get downloaded, and their life is going to be a real life video game. I know it sounds like a movie, but remember, your life is an illusion and TV is your reality. And that's the reason why it's so important for you to get back to the creator. So therefore, you can start creating and you don't fall for the devil's tricks. And remember, the crypto teacher told you, because he knows when it comes to the NWO, it's all planned out. You have a wonderful day.
Why you think this job apocalypse is coming?
But then I go and meet with a friend who is thinking about contributing 1% of his firm's profits for reskilling, and his motivation was he's taken over a call center in the Philippines, and he's going to be laying off 80% of the workforce and replacing them with an AI. That's 7 to 10% of the Filipino GDP directly. Driving some form of a vehicle is 4 to 5 million workers just in the United States. It's one of the biggest sources of employment for men globally, including in the United States.
Really seen a bunch of sanctions get announced in the past couple weeks, specifically targeting companies and vessels with ties to Venezuela, including some companies involved in the Venezuela and Iranian weapons trade. What was really interesting though is just before the New Year's holiday, there was a new round of sanctions targeting both companies and some oil tankers that are explicitly Chinese companies. These are either based in Hong Kong or based in China, and this is really the first and sort of most overt action we've seen from the Treasury Department, which issues these sanctions, going after some of these Hong Kong and Chinese-based companies.
Iran's leadership early this morning saying if the regime kills peaceful protesters, the U.S. would intervene, and that American forces are locked and loaded.
These protests have been growing nationwide in Iran over the past 6 days and are now in at least 27 different cities, Julian. As you mentioned, President Trump posting a stern warning to the regime just before 3 a.m. in Palm Beach. I'll read you the full text, Julie. It says, the president said, quote, if Iran shoots and violently kills peaceful protesters, which is their custom, the United States of America will come to their rescue. We are locked and loaded and ready to go. Thank you for your attention to this matter. At least 6 people have been reportedly killed in the protests this week. It started among shopkeepers and merchants in Tehran's Grand Bazaar. Students have now taken to the streets with truckers and bus drivers, protesting runaway inflation, a currency that has lost 40% of its value since Israel launched its 12-day war against Iran, supported by those American B-2 bombers, stealth fighter jets, and Tomahawk cruise missiles from the guided missile submarine USS Georgia. Iran's secretary of its National Security Council responding to Trump in a post of his own, saying, quote, Trump should know that American interference in this internal issue is equivalent to chaos across the entire region and the destruction of American interests. The American people should know it was Trump who started the adventurism. They should look after their soldiers. Here was President Trump earlier this week.
I'm not going to talk about overthrow of a regime. They've got a lot of problems in Iran. They have tremendous inflation. Their economy is bust. Their economy is no good. And I know that people aren't so happy, but don't forget, every time they have a riot or somebody forms a group, little or big, they start shooting people.
We've just been through one heck of a year for innovation. This will be considered the year of the robotaxi.
We're going to have tremendous workforce availability. We're also going to have robots helping us. We're going to have a lot of robots helping us because we need it. And because we're going to town, we're building a lot between the AI and the auto plants. So we're going to need robots. We're going to have robots, but that's going to help us.
Robots hold steady hands in the operating room, and drones are redefining the future of war. Innovations of first-generation humanoids, factory automation, and autonomous vehicles have surged from private sector investment. Every one of these advancements is powered by AI. The robots are here. Our future is no longer science fiction.
Maybe crypto is actually built for the machines and we didn't even know it. And AI can easily handle private keys and easily understands transaction hashes and like how all this stuff works. It is money that is built for computers, even before the computers to intelligently handle it were built. So I find that interesting. And perhaps those of us who were involved in crypto pre-AI were kind of just like getting the ground ready for the AI systems to have a fully developed financial system handed to them, for better or worse.
This could be perhaps the greatest revolution in financial technology since the birth of the internet itself. Many Americans are unaware that behind the scenes, the technical backbone of the financial system is decades out of date, many, many years out of date. You know that. Paul and others are straightening it out, but payments and money transfers are costly and take days or even weeks to clear. Under this bill, the entire ancient system will be eligible for a 21st century upgrade using the state-of-the-art crypto technology.
And as President Trump has directed, we are going to keep the U.S. the dominant reserve currency in the world, and we will use stable coins to do that.
I think stable coins could reinforce dollar supremacy, because with stable coins could end up being one of the largest buyers of U.S. treasuries or T-bills. Mm-hmm. So all of a sudden, if you are using a stable coin in Nigeria that's backed by the US dollar, you don't actually have to have dollars. It's on your phone. You can transact.
We are going big on digital assets. So Trump administration has made digital assets a priority. I've seen estimates that just over the short term, stable coins could create $2 trillion of demand for U.S. treasuries and treasury bills. To put that in context, the number is probably about $300 billion right now.
We will take a close look at regulatory impediments to blockchain, stablecoins, and new payment systems.
The Department of Commerce is going to start issuing its statistics on the blockchain, because you are the crypto president, and we are going to put out GDP on the blockchain so people can use the blockchain for data distribution, and then we're going to make that available to the entire government so all of you can do it. We're just ironing out all the details so we can do it.
Together, these world-leading technology giants are announcing the formation of Stargate. So put that name down in your books, because I think you can reduce the cost of virtually all goods and services. It'll make the United States a manufacturing superpower and the world capital of artificial intelligence and crypto. But with today's announcement, we take a major step to bring healthcare into the digital age. Instead of filling out the same tedious paperwork at every medical appointment, patients will simply be able to grant their doctors access to their records at the push of a button. Just a button and you're all set, and all the information the doctor needs will be immediately transmitted.
Going to a different economy, and we're going to be learning more about that as we go. But clearly, we're learning that things can be done from remote locations. We're learning that technology can replace people even more than we thought.
We're not going back to the same economy. We're recovering, but to a different economy, and it'll be one that is more leveraged to technology. And I worry that that is going to make it even more difficult than it was for many workers.
In Silicon Valley, and my friends who work in technology know that what we did to the manufacturing workers, we are now going to do to the retail workers, the call center workers, the fast food workers, the truck drivers, and then even bookkeepers, accountants, insurance agents, lawyers, and on through the economy. So what happened to the manufacturing workers is a very clear sign.
And so we'll import Chinese-based CBDC technology. So it's going to be CBDC in a box provided to you by the People's Bank of China. But every stock, every bond, every currency, every commodity, every piece of art, every private business, every piece of real estate will eventually be a token on a blockchain, an entry on a ledger, permanent and immutable. We will have truth instead of trust, and we will save over $7 trillion a year.
Like what you see in China and their social credit scoring systems, right? If we get identity wrong, it could be a tool to enslave humanity. And if we get it right, it could be a tool to liberate humanity. And as an American, I'm obviously rooting for the one that's on the side of freedom.
If we could tokenize all our ETFs, all $5.3 trillion of our ETFs, and provide that in a digital wallet, you could seamlessly, without fees, going from a digital currency or a stable coin or whatever that may be in your digital wallet and buy bond or stocks. And I believe that is going to be the future.
I believe we're going to be in the cutting edge of tokenizing bonds and stocks.
coming.
And we have the technology now. The fact that we are now moving forward in tokenization, every bond and stock, is crazy. Yeah. We should be moving towards that frontier. Obviously, there's winners and losers and all that, but we need to be prepared for the tokenization. And it would democratize more finance if we tokenized bonds and stocks.
Cryptoteacher and the New World Order book, plus the 3 kids books. It's time to re-educate. Also, new to cryptos, Coinbase, Bitrue, Binance. Do not forget book links and crypto links are in the description. The stock channel, guys. Don't forget to go like, subscribe, spread everywhere. You have your Kobo, your chip stocks, your banking, your gaming. While everybody's sitting at home, get on stocks, the Seaver, the biotech stocks. And while everybody's at home wishing they were still getting that free money, what are they doing? Drinking and smoking weed. Don't forget about those stocks, and you have a wonderful day. The most powerful person in the world is the storyteller. The storyteller sets the vision, values, and agenda of an entire generation to come. Steve Jobs. And guys, you know I truly believe in this. When you look at the New World Order, they're the storytellers. And that's the reason why I wrote my New World Order book. But guys, now it's time to change the current generation. And I wrote 3 kids books.